My people, it's time to move out. Move out.
Hey, this is Fred from the Fly Project and the Trout Shop in Craig, Montana. And it is moving into September now, and I am getting super excited for one of my favorite seasons of the year, and that is the window of time when I spend a lot of time with a Trout Spey rod in my hand. My go-to Trout Spey rod for this coming season, and honestly has been for the past year, is our Saga Series rod. This one is a 4114, and it is an absolutely perfectly balanced rod. I usually run about a 270 grain line system on it, whether it's a Skagit or a Scandi. It seems to be absolutely fabulous with just under 300 grains. And on the Scandi side of things right now, as we get into the fall where we're fishing over weeds and where we're possibly running soft tackles, I usually set it up with a 10-foot poly leader and then a small barrel swivel, and then I just run anywhere from 2 to 4x tippet off of that. With the streamer, I'm going to run the 2x, and if I'm running down to soft tackles, I'm probably going to go with 3 and or 4x. Especially if I'm running 2 flies, I'll go 3x, 4x. So I've had an opportunity to fish a lot of Spey rods over the years. I tend to find that the key window and size for a Trout Spey rod is somewhere between 250 and 300 grains for the load on the rod. It is absolutely perfect tool for catching 14 to 24 inch fish. I have landed some larger fish with it, and it will handle those, but the key is you want to be able to cast the flies that you want to fish, and you also want to be able to have enough of a tool to land the fish that you're catching and have fun doing it. And this rod is perfectly balanced for that Trout Spey application. It's also just a few inches over 11 feet. Seems to be just the perfect length for the fishing situations I find myself in. So once we get a little later into the season and water's cooling down, fish are maybe dropping off of some deeper shelves, I will switch up oftentimes to a Skagit head. And when those browns get frisky and I need to roll some bigger flies, I'll typically run 10 foot of T8 sinking line off of my Skagit head, and some flies that are anywhere from 3.5 to 5 inches long. And that Skagit system becomes the perfect tool for presenting those bigger flies. The casting is essentially exactly the same. This rod works equally well whether you're throwing a Scandi or a Skagit. It's just a question of fly size and the way you want to present them and what you want to do. But I always carry both setups with me, whether typically just on another reel, or if I'm in a boat, I'm probably going to carry both rods, one set up with the Skagit and one set up with the Scandi. Two of the lines that I've found to work really well on these rods are the Spey Light series from Scientific Angler. Right now, we did have this one set up today to throw a streamer, so I've got a 270 grain Scandi Spey Light, and it's an integrated head, which I like an integrated head for Scandi fishing because a lot of times we're going to be casting at varying distances, and also when we bring those fish in close to the boat, it's nice to be able to, not deal with the transition of a head that when you've got a sink tip and a Skagit head and a running line system. So that long head, longer bodied integrated line makes it a little easier for the Trout Spey applications. So then on the Skagit side of things, I've been running either a 275 grain OPST integrated line system, which is perfect, or I've been running the 270 grain integrated Scientific Angler Scandi Light, Skagit. So early in the season and in the fall, the fish seem to really respond well to small minnow patterns. One of my favorite flies, and we've talked about it in the past, and we will hopefully have it back on the website soon, is the Bam Bam. But any jig woolly bugger style flies can work really well. natural color schemes with olive brown and black are always good, and then maybe a little bit of accent of some red or some green or some blue tinsel will really make those flies pop. And then as we get into that window where some of the fish are going to respond to big streamers, then one of my favorite flies is the bald eagle. I've done really well on brown trout in Montana on that fly, especially in the fall. Any of your sparkle minnows, basically any of the flies that you'd throw single hand that are in that 3 to 4 inch range, you can throw on a Skagit head with your Trout Spey setup.